So yesterday we were talking a little bit about Buddhism, and Mara came up. And I got very interested in this idea of the similarities, striking similarities between the idea of Mara and Maya. So I began to look up Mara on the internet to find out more information, and just to, again, see if I could use any of that nuance when you compare different traditions to come to a deeper understanding of something. And Mara, it turns out, has kind of four manifestations really in Buddhism that they talk about. I found this in the New World Encyclopedia online, and I thought I would just kind of share it with you. It says in the traditional sense of Buddhism, four senses of the word Mara are given. Firstly, there is Klesa Mara, or Mara as the embodiment of all unskilled emotions. Unskilled emotions, so that's emotions without training. No control. You're just kind of tossed here and there. Because Maya, the idea of Maya within Hinduism, as many of you know, it's not really a defined statement. It's often said that it's an illusion, according to Shankara's ideas. But Ramakrishna kind of builds on that, and he says, no, there's something there. It's just not definable. So it's not entirely an illusion. It's a wrong seeing of isness, as it were. What that means to me is basically the way that we see the world. The world is not real. It's ever-changing. You can't really actually describe any of it. When it gets down to a certain point, it always becomes indescribable. So the world is what your mind makes of what it sees without knowing what it is. Or like we talked about yesterday, Maya is seeing the unity from a perspective that refuses to be a part of it, or that insists on being separate and apart from it. So namely the ego self, you and me, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. So this first idea of Mara is that idea of unskilled emotions. So no mind control, no control of your emotions. You're everywhere. You're all over the place. And usually what that means is you're completely driven by external circumstances. Circumstances are unpleasant, you're sad. You know, someone likes you, you're happy. You have a good full stomach, you're content. So everything is dependent on senses and changing circumstances all the time. So you're all over. So that's Mara. That's one of the causes of Mara. All right, the second one, Mrityu Mara, or Mara as death. So this idea of something having an end, that's what Ramakrishna says. Those things which change are unreal. It is the unchanging alone that is real. So death is the mark of Maya. Death is the mark of illusion, of seeing something unreal, because it comes into time and passes out of time. It comes into existence, passes out of existence. Whereas the self, that true thing, is existence itself. It cannot not exist. It is always there. So death is the second idea of Mara. Third, Skandha Mara, or Mara as metaphor for the entirety of conditioned existence. This is Shankara's idea. All of this conditioned existence. Well, what is conditioned existence? It's anything with limitations, anything with descriptors. I'm this and not this. You know, it means that it exists under certain conditions. This forest exists under these conditions. Tomorrow it may be a temple extension here. Could be a swimming pool. You know, when our temple started, all of this was woods. Now it's a big neighborhood, a parking lot, and a beautiful temple, and some lovely gardens. So that's the nature of this conditioned universe. It only exists when you place a boundary and measure it from that boundary, the relative universe. You know, that's the amazing thing about relativity. Relativity is a very spooky thing if you think about it, because nothing is until it's measured by something else. That's what relative means. You don't know where you are. There's no way to describe where you are in the universe unless you pick something and make yourself relative to it. The problem is that that thing that you pick is relative to something else, and on and on and on, and there's no bottom. There's no turtle at the bottom. There's no end to the turtles. Turtles all the way down, they say. You know, so that's this frightening thing about the prison that we're in, the prison of relativity. There is no there. It goes. It's undefined all the way down. So that is the third idea of this Mara. Last one, Devaputra Mara, or Mara, the son of God, that is, Mara as an objectively existent being rather than as a metaphor. This last connotation of Mara is strikingly similar to the Hindu concept of Maya, the elusive power of God, which may suggest that the two words Maya and Mara are perhaps directly related. Well, there you are. From the scripture of the New World Encyclopedia, Mara and Maya may come from the exact same thing. What's interesting, and this is controversial to say, more if you're a Buddhist than a Vedantist, but Sri Ramakrishna is quoted as saying in The Great Master by Swami Sharadananda that the path of knowledge in Hinduism and Buddhism are identical. He says they're exactly the same. And, I'm always happy to be put in a situation where I can agree with Sri Ramakrishna. But I do. The very little bit that I've studied of Buddhism, I love deeply, by the way. And Swami Vivekananda also highly revered Buddha and highly complimented the Buddhist movement in India. And I'm also finding the study of its teachings to be very, very beneficial. I love the teaching style of the Buddha, the question and answer arrangements, and the very grounded wisdom stories and statements. So that's the idea of Mara, which is a cloaked idea of Maya within the Buddhist tradition. Very informative, very helpful. Use that to find your way through this elusive jungle to that gem of the self, unchanging, eternal, and ever free.